Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. And this question I got comes from a client of mine who asks, how do you effectively lead someone that always seems to have legitimate excuses? So this refers to people that sometimes through no fault of their own, sometimes life happens, but cannot execute on whatever goals or projects are put in front of them no matter what. And the person that asked this question has a position of authority in their company, but they're trying to establish more of a leadership reputation than having to rely on that authority, which is a very smart thing for him to do. So how do you effectively lead someone that always seems to have legitimate excuses? Things like, oh, the car just seems to break down often, they get sick often or at inopportune times, kids seem to get sick, and these things happen always around deadlines and this sort of thing. So the first thing is when we bring someone on our team, benefit of the doubt is given over to them. Whatever process you have for interviewing, finding candidates for jobs, however you've sorted that, have confidence in it and give the benefit of the doubt to the people you bring on by assuming that these things are out of their control and they just seem to be happening. A caveat to that is I've never met anyone, myself included, who is as good at picking talent as they believe themselves to be. It doesn't mean there aren't people that are very good at it, but there are inherent limitations in an interview process and an application process. We can get around a lot of them, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. So the benefit of the doubt when these things start to arise is given. What does that mean in practice? It means that we try to find out how we can help our team work around these problems. So if it's a question of getting somewhere, can it be done remotely? Can it be delegated to someone else for the time being and then picked up when the unfortunate team member is back on the road? If it's a health problem, can we just put the project off a little bit? Or can it be disseminated to other people and then we work whoever this is back in at the appropriate time? So the benefit of the doubt is very, very important, not only for the person that you're dealing with, but for your team as a whole. Whatever or however you treat one is going to be found out by the others. And this is the reputation that we want to have. We want people to know that when life hits them in the face, we're not just going to say, hey, look, it's do or die, get it done or don't, but we can step up and help them figure out other ways to get it done. Now, an important part of that is putting solutions in their lap. Doesn't mean that when they come to us with a problem, we're just going to give them the solution. No, we use really smart questions. We use our good science-based questions of how and what and where to have them solve the problem. That's ideal. And that's kind of step one. Now, let's just say these things continue. Always seems to be something coming up. Even if we assume that they're being completely forthright and they just have terrible luck, we have to understand that leadership is not some endlessly elastic idea. At the end of any day, especially in business, the leader has to have results. People will not follow for the long term people that don't get results. So the results are important, and our ability to get to them not only affects the business as a whole, but it affects our personal reputation as the leader or as an aspiring leader. That being said, not every team is for everyone. And that can feel harsh because at a certain point, if somebody habitually cannot produce, does not produce, there might be a time, there probably will be a time for separation. Now, we go back to the point I just made about benefit of the doubt. This should not be an immediate go-to. 2 weeks in, they've got two problems and they're already out the door. That doesn't apply to personality things. Somehow, an example of this is somehow you missed or you were misled in the interview process before you brought this person on. Turns out they're terrible with conflict, for example. The first conflict they get into with someone else on the team, and they immediately go to saying, why are you acting like such a bitch, or something like that? Why are you such an asshole? Just the wrong kind of personality. That's someone you can get rid of immediately, and I would suggest that you fire them very quickly. This is something a little bit different. This is genuine life things that could and do happen to all of us. How do we deal with those? And as much as leadership is about meeting people where they are, that can't go on forever. And so once you've tried all you can try, and the entire team is now starting to fall behind because of the not lack of effort from somebody, but from their inhibition, or the inability of them to put forth that effort. Once the team starts to fall behind, that is when you have to make a separation. What's important there, though, is that you don't moralize it. This idea of not every team is for everyone is very important, because it allows us to not lay needless judgment on somebody because things didn't work out. There's even a positive spin you can put on letting people go from your team, from firing people, is that there is a team out there that they're going to fit with perfectly. Whatever is getting in the way of this person being an asset for your team, they will find one, provided that they're genuine in their desire to put forth effort. They will find a team that fits them and fits their lifestyle and fits their life challenges right now. It just might not be your team. So I'd say the 2 points here that are very, very important for us to remember. One is we want to give benefit of the doubt and try and help where we can at the beginning. And the timeline here will be different for everybody. And so this is on you as the leader to set these priorities and determine the timeline. Once you get to a point where this really is habitual, it really is causing the entire team to fall behind, and you have to separate, it's important to make sure that you're not laying any sort of moral judgment on anybody. You're not going over the top. You're not attacking their character. All that is useless, and it inhibits you. It diminishes you as the leader in the eyes of everybody else, and it should, because there is no cost to continuing to assume that this person is telling you the truth and they just have shitty luck. That doesn't mean that you have to continue to keep this person, that their bad luck has to affect your entire team and the mission that you guys are on. So there's a way for us to square this circle, and we don't need to believe that because we want to be leaders that we have to put up with absolutely everything from everyone and try and make the biggest tent possible for anybody. As much as we want to be adaptable as leaders, everything must have limitations. And getting to those limitations with integrity is the most important part. Now, if that's the question for today, then we'll do another one later. That's it.